I'm about to embark on a journey to Prague, capital of the Czech Republic, to pick up something really special. Something I've been waiting for a few months now. This is an aviator guitar. More specifically, an Aviator Raven 7-string. And while this one isn't mine, they loaned it to me sometime last year, and it's still in my house because nobody has bought it yet. But in the same breath they offered to loan me this one, they also offered to let me spec out a fully custom model from their Pilot series. Basically a slightly simplified custom guitar line, which allows you to save some money because you can't really leave a certain catalog of custom options, which just allows them to have everything in stock at all times that could potentially be needed for a custom build. And so I went on their online configurator and I spec'd out the guitar that I've always wanted to have. Regular scale 6-string, the Aviator Warbird body shape, because I've tried a few of those in the past and they are surprisingly ergonomic. Duncan JB and Jazz pickups, a very popular and common metal configuration, but one that I do not have in my collection yet. But here it comes. Gold hardware on purple stain. I love purple. I've always wanted a purple guitar in my collection of like 40-something guitars now, and somehow I still do not have a purple electric. So when they sent me the 2D render of what mine was going to look like after I put in my order, I was fucking floored. And today is the day that I can finally go pick it up. And the reason I'm doing that over just having them ship it to me is because I'd love to make a video going a little deeper into Aviator as a company, as opposed to just this guitar and my new custom guitar specifically. Full disclosure, I am not paying for this custom build, but that shouldn't stop you from enjoying this video. And as a matter of fact, Aviator isn't even really the sponsor of this video because it is sponsored externally to justify the expense of going to Prague for a couple of days for this video. And let's hop in the car. After a 7-hour drive, which was grueling and my back hurts, I have made it to the Czech Republic, and this is my guitar. I can't pretend I haven't seen it yet. I wanted to do that. I really did, but I can't, because when I walked in, it was right there, and then I said I'd act surprised, but that's really cringe. So I'm just gonna show you. It's really cool, I promise. And then we will get into, you know, a little bit of stuff behind Aviator, the company. Are you ready? Look at it. Now I showed you the 2D render in the intro, and there are some slight changes, mainly the headstock, because this headstock is less harpoony and less Ormsby looking, which now in the full context of this very round and curvy single cut, probably a good decision. That would have looked a little weird. Man, I didn't have a purple guitar yet, and this is... holy shit. Hey, how you doing everybody? I'm on top of the closet in my hotel room in Prague, and if you've got a minute, I'd like to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Aura. If you travel a lot like I do, then you've probably made it a habit to keep an eye on your bags, your wallet, your passport, but your personal data is the easiest thing to lose without even realizing. Ranging anywhere from public Wi-Fi networks to shady booking sites, your personal data can end up sold into the wrong hands before you've even unpacked your bags. And that's where today's sponsor Aura comes in for those of you based in the US. Every day, data breaches spill people's personal information out across the internet. Your name, home address, phone number, and even your social security number could already be out there. Do you ever wonder why you keep getting those calls about your car's extended warranty even though you don't have a car, a driver's license, or a phone? Yeah. Aura is constantly scanning the dark web, public records, and breach databases to alert you if your personal data has been leaked before anybody can get to it to take out a mortgage in your name. I could go onto any data broker website right now and buy somebody's personal data for a couple of bucks without repercussions. And that's why Aura offers up to $5 million in identity theft insurance in case the worst happens. Because let's be real, if shit goes sideways, your bank is not going to foot the bill. If you go through the link in the description or to aura.com/sixstringtv, you'll get the first 14 days of Aura for free, which is plenty of time to check if your data is already out there, being passed around by people you really don't want having it. Protect yourself now. I have to somehow get down from here now, so I'll see ya. Right, so now that you've seen this guitar, and you saw the Raven 7-string in the intro, you didn't hear it, but you saw it, I think it's time we dive a little deeper into the actual brand, and the best way to do that is to take a tour of the workshop. Let's go.
Okay, so right now we are in our machine room, I would say, where we keep and prepare all the woods. So we have our machines, our saws and sanders and planer, and most importantly, a lot of different types of woods. So here we have some necks that we're working on. These are for the Pilot Edition, the Wenge with maple in the center, and everything else is pretty much for customs. These are rough bores that we get from a mill here, and then we resaw them into our neck blanks. Here we keep some of our body blanks. These are again Swamp Ash for the Pilot Edition, which we are kind of focusing on right now, so most of what we have here is for that. But really we can pretty much use whatever the client wants, so we can order pretty much any type of wood that's kind of readily available for guitars. This is our CNC machine. It's rather small, but it does a lot of legwork here. And yeah, we've had it ever since we started building these guitars, so this has been instrumental in keeping everything precise and yeah, just keeping the build times kind of at least a little bit consistent, because I'm here by myself most of the time, so this helps me focus on other stuff while this is doing most of the rough milling. But there's still a lot of handwork left after that. Some people kind of feel like, you know, if you make guitars with the CNC, that you sort of just throw the machine into a forest and come collect the guitars, but it's not like that at all, unfortunately. It would be amazing if that's how that worked. So this is our shelf for all the builds that we have in production. So we keep everything organized and numbered. So each shelf is a guitar, and that's where these like bolt-ons and set necks go before they're glued. So it's all numbered. There's the body and the neck. Throughout the various stages of the process, we take them out, work on them, and put them back in. Over here we keep bigger shelves for neck-through guitars. And right now there's a lot of extra stuff that we're working on for the expos, because we're kind of running low on space and we're building way too much. So yeah, neck-throughs go in here. This is kind of midway through the process where the top has been machined, but the back is still kind of unfinished. So this is going to have one more stage on the CNC before it goes to sanding.
So it has to go through the thing multiple times?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I can maybe guide you through the different stages, so to kind of explain that more. This is another neck through that is finished on the CNC. So as you can see, it's machined to the shape it's supposed to be, mostly, but there's a lot of router marks and a lot of edges that the machine cannot effectively do. So then we have to refine everything by hand and make it as comfortable as possible. I guess we can take a look at the stages here, because I have the necks in the various stages and kind of follows the same pattern pretty much. Alright, so this is roughly how the process goes on the necks, and also by extension on the neck screws as well. So this is the neck blank itself, where it's just a block of wood, but it's sized to the size we need it to be, it's thickness. And the first stage we do is we route the headstock angle. That is the very first step of the neck process. Then we glue on the headstock plate. After that, the channels for the truss rod and the carbon rods are routed. This one is a headless guitar, which obviously doesn't have the angled headstock. So when it's like this, we glue on the fretboard and we machine the top of the neck. We don't have that stage here, but basically you have this block with the fretboard glued on, then the fretboard is machined, and then the whole neck is flipped upside down and the backside gets routed. And that looks like this when it comes out of the machine. After that, we have the neck sit for about a week or two, just so it settles a little bit, because it tends to warp quite a bit sometimes when you remove the bulk of the material from the neck blank. Before we used to fret the necks when they were still in the block because it's a lot easier to fret them like this, but then you have to do a lot of fret leveling afterwards, and we found that is just a bit too much unnecessarily material removal. So we started doing it this way, where we actually fret the neck after it's been fully routed and the fretboard gets leveled. Here is where we do most of the sanding work and also fretting. So there's Tony right there working on one of our guitars. And this is our fret press. So this is where we actually put in the frets. We have this little thingy where we rest the neck so it doesn't move, and we use this, which actually puts quite a bit of force onto the frets so they're seated properly, which is always good. So this is where we spent a lot of time just hand sanding and getting rid of all of those nasty CNC marks, and there's a lot of them. You can see him inspecting it in a bit of detail, because that's what you really need to do to make sure there are no sanding marks left on the bodies, because under lacquer all of that shows. We don't like that. We like them to be as nice and clean as possible. This messy desk is where I do the coloring. So this is a Pilot Edition Predator. As you can see, it's very green. So this is a water-based stain that just is wiped into the wood with just a paper cloth. This usually takes a few steps, where we go in with the darker color to kind of highlight the grain, then it gets sanded back, and we put in like a lighter shade to kind of make that contrast pop.
Oh, this is where the toxic fumes are.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm very used to this, so.
Wow, that's great.
And this is our spray room. We apply all the finishes here. We don't use a lot of finish on most of our guitars, especially on the Pilots. It's just a thin coat of satin lacquer. But yeah, we spray that here. We have quite a powerful vent behind the filter. And this is where the guitars that are being sprayed just cure. We have another really purple one.
This is a crime scene.
Here we have a bunch of bodies in the process of sanding. They're just kind of laying here because we don't have enough shelves. But this is basically the Pilot Edition portfolio we are bringing to the Guitar Summit this year. So in a few months' time, you will be able to see these and play these in Mannheim. And this is the very last room in the workshop, and this is where we do all the assembly, the wiring, and setup for all of our guitars. And over here we have the boxes with parts for all the guitars that are in production. So the numbers match the numbers on the shelves in the other room. And basically once the order comes in, we print a spec sheet, put it with the box, and then put all the necessarily parts in the box to be pulled out when the guitar is ready for assembly. So this is the spec sheet. This is our Pilot Edition Warbird 6. We started as a custom shop about 10 years ago, and we were doing a lot of like high-end customized stuff, but we were never really known for super flashy instruments, I would say. And we started noticing some patterns in what people order the most, also what we like to work with in terms of materials and hardware. So we came up with the Pilot Edition about 2 years ago, where we wanted to kind of simplify the spec and focus really on the craftsmanship and the quality, but make the whole ordering process a little bit easier for the customers who aren't necessarily super into woods and stuff like that. The Pilot Edition is what we call kind of our semi-custom line. There is still some customization that you can do. We have 4 of our models in terms of body styles. This is actually the very first body style that I designed 10 years ago. This is the Warbird. And then we have another 3 of the most popular that we do that we also offer in the Pilot Edition. And one of them actually is not the most popular, but it's a brand new model for 2025 currently. So in terms of spec, we have Swamp Ash body. The neck is Wenge with maple, so it's a 3-piece neck. We use Rich Light fretboard, which is composite material, really sturdy and super convenient for fretboards because it doesn't shrink, doesn't move, and helps the overall stability of the neck. We use stainless steel frets. Hipshot hardware is the standard spec on these, so Hipshot hardtail and the locking tuners. Optional upgrade with the Pilot Edition is the Evertune bridge. We also have these available in multi-scale for these guitars, and the configuration can be 6, 7, or 8 string.
Right then, thank you for watching. Naturally, there is going to be a full in-depth review of this guitar over on the Gear Channel 7-String TV not too long from now. I have a couple in the pipeline that need to be done before then, but I'm going to get to this quick, I promise. If you want one of your own, there is an affiliate link in the description to buy one. Technically, the boy from the intro is also still available, just saying, you know. And well, I guess I'm gonna go back home now. See ya. Yes, I'm still up here. I'm not even sure how I got up here, let alone how to get down. This isn't magic of editing. I'm still up here.